I just sent another link. Oh, you can't hear me? I may have to come on again. I can't hear you. I can't. Oh. All right. Let me try. Can't hear you.
Mic is muted. No wonder I was muted. So I was saying hello to everybody. Yeah, that's why. I got so I'm just over here as like watching those old Chinese, Japanese movies. Hello.
I couldn't hear you. That's why I went off.
I'm doing fine. Run! Here comes Godzilla! But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. So I did everybody's commentary. Welcome everybody to the show. Hope you can read lips because I can't. But welcome everybody. I wonder why everybody's like, I can't hear you. I'm like, I can hear myself. I'm looking at my meters, but everything was doing good. So Peter, what's going on?
It's been a busy week with readings. People are trying to figure out what's going on with the government, their private lives, the
UFO.
Yeah.
Whistleblowers.
Yeah. So things have been very, very busy, and it's nice and refreshing. So I wonder where our friend Angela and Imbal are.
So our guest is actually backstage. I was wanting to let you introduce her. She just came on a few minutes ago. Yeah, she was there. She's like, I can't hear you either. And I'm like, well, I can hear myself. And nobody ever hears me. She's backstage laughing. Well, thank you, Nicole. I'm glad you can hear me now. It's remember that old AT&T commercial? Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Or yes.
But anyways,
Yes.
So introduce so who we got coming on?
Well, let me give you a little introduction. Before I started on your wonderful program, I was doing a show called Find My Divine with a media consultant by the name Stefan Rybeck. And I put out a flyer, and Imbal Honigman answered. We saw her in action. We saw her giving meetings. And I was so impressed by this woman from Great Britain that I had to introduce her, and I had to find out who she was.
It takes a lot to impress you.
On our program, and she's going to blow everybody away. She's absolutely an amazing and intuitive. So without further ado, I would love to introduce you, Grizzly, and your viewing audience to Imbal Honigman. And
Imbal, come on down. Your next contestant on the Grizzlies. Right. Welcome to the show. Yeah, I seen you backstage. Like, I'm like, why can't I can hear myself? I'm looking at my meters on my boards. Everything's fine. And Peter goes, I can't hear you. I'll be right back. Click, and he just disappeared. Peter is also a magician. He disappears a lot. So anyway, nice to have you on the show. Everybody's saying welcome. So nice to have you.
Amazing to be on the show. But it was so funny because I thought maybe it's something wrong with me that I can't hear Grizz. So I went on my settings, but obviously I've heard the entire intro. So it was sort of showing me, it was like, girl, it's still working. It was working before, it's still working now. Just have patience. Do you know, it's really funny that you refer to Peter also being a magician, because when somebody's got the vibes so strongly, they impact all sorts of technological things around us, right?
Yes, that is true.
So you'll find that, you know, your computer will do all sorts of things that computers are not really meant to do. And, you know, you could be cooking and all of a sudden everything just stops. And it's just the vibes and we are cool with it. We're used to it.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. But I've got to tell your watching and listening audience again, the first time Inbal was on our program, it was the audience couldn't get enough of her. She was so accurate. We were just, Stefan and I were completely, well, we weren't blown away, shocked, because I knew when I had met her that she was a very gifted intuitive, but she was, her personality, she's beautiful. She just is an incredible individual to have as a guest. And I'm going to let her demonstrate how amazing she is.
Oh,
thank you so
we're
much.
ready.
It's a massive passion for me, because I like for the spiritual world to be totally accessible to everybody. And I like to make it appear as straightforward and as simple as possible. So, Grizz, you're obviously an investigator of all the stuff that we can't see, all the stuff that is just a little bit beyond the veil. And I just want to get rid of that veil so that we're all living in an entirely like multidimensional reality. I say reality, I'm not a big fan of reality, but you know, a multidimensional existence. And that's really where my passion for my work comes from. And more than I love doing readings, I also love sort of showing people how straightforward it is to just, you know, roll your sleeves and sort of get stuck into it. And that's kind of what I like to bring with me into sort of being face to face. I say face to face, you know, we're all in different countries, but being face to face with a person that, you know, that we're stepping forward to help.
Right. No, I totally agree with that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so here she is. I'm so excited, and I have been waiting all week for this to happen. And I've got to say also that Grizzly is an amazing host. His background is incredible with law and being a detective and criminal cases. So I'm sure everything is going to work out. And I would like to say in the future, if you have the time, I know you have, the kids to take care of. If Grizzly has no problem with it, for you to work on some of the criminal cases.
Absolutely.
And,
I would love that so much. Oh, it would be such an amazing honor. Oh, I would be absolutely 100% into it. Because what was funny is that me and Peter have been trying to sort of touch base for a few months now, right? We said, we've got to do something together. We've got to do something together. We've got to do something together. And then when Peter said, can you make this date and this time, I was like, yeah, that is perfect, because that's 11 p.m. here in England. The children are asleep. No one's gonna knock on the door. It's like my ideal time, and I'm doing something so much better than scrolling, which is like the 11 p.m. activity. So this kind of time is the perfect time. It's the time that I literally save for like my US clients and you.
Wonderful.
Great. Yeah. So what we do is every Friday is I look at cases people submit to me. They're missing person cases, cold cases, or murder cases. And I cover them on one Friday. Then the next Friday, after the show, I submit usually what people require is just a photograph. And I submit that to the panel of people with abilities. and I'll let them do their thing. Then on the next Friday, I'll bring the people onto the show and let them tell them what they divulge their information of what they saw about the person and the facts what they got with their abilities and what they seen with the case and how it unfolds. So that's how we help the family to hopefully recover the remains and hopefully to help law enforcement. So yeah, so pretty interesting.
Pretty interesting. It's mind blowing.
Yeah. It's we've been doing this now for I think about 8 or 9 months. So we got
and there must be a great sense of calling there for you, Chris.
Yes,
right? Because you're doing it not for your own enjoyment. You're doing it to get facts out there for people that can use them.
Yes, that is correct. Now, unfortunately, we do call out law enforcement when they do make mistakes because we are human beings, right? And unfortunately, we do see when there are cover-ups, that does happen. Like for Nicole Bully, the one famous in UK, the UK police said, well, the Fitbit replicated a heartbeat and we performed tests. And that's how we got a heartbeat on the deceased body. And I was like, no, you didn't. Show me the test. Show me how you replicated that test. Well, they didn't have video or any test to show that. So we took that case on. So what did I do? I'll call Fitbit and I'll record the conversation and I'll talk to their technical department. And they were like, I need a supervisor. Somebody's calling about a dead person and a Fitbit. And they had a real problem with it in the beginning because I wanted to know how the Fitbit worked, which I already knew because I had one, years ago. But I wanted them to tell me exactly how it worked. And they talked about the capillaries underneath the skin and how the heart beats and restricts and contracts and how it measures the blood vessels and the beats. And so it shows that UK police was not telling the truth. So once again,
Very shocking.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because the Nicola Bully case was really confusing because didn't she leave her phone on the bench before the tragedy?
Yes.
So, so that made it so much more confusing because you would think, well, if she gave the phone away, then why would she keep any other tech on her? Yeah, it was real tragedy, and it was obviously all over the news here daily until until she was found.
Yeah, because they said the water, the current of the water in the stream, which I validated, the water in the stream was not that fast moving, right? That the water between the skin and the Fitbit replicated the heartbeat. And I'm like, no, that's not possible. That's incorrect. That's not scientific. So I had to go to the manufacturer to prove to the world that they were not telling the truth. And that's what I did. And I played the recording on the air. So
discovering a cover-up is probably so important just as a society for our sense of trust, of knowing who we can trust, who we can turn to, because there has been a massive crisis of confidence with the police force. I think in the UK, people like to think that it's only a problem in America, but it really isn't.
Right.
Yes.
And another one that I'll throw up, then I'll leave it alone, is that, why didn't they test the water in her lungs? Because the water in the lungs would also tell you that the bacteria, whether it was the water in that creek or that whatever stream, or if it was somewhere else. So, and they did not test that either. So there's other red flags that did not add up in an investigative mind. And to me, it did not. So, and that's why we took the case on, and everybody was going nuts over the case and was like, you need to take this case. So with the overwhelming, people asking and more looked at it, I was like, yeah, we'll take a look at it and see what comes up. So we did. And it was a very sad outcome. My heart goes out to the family and friends of Nicole Bully for sure. Anytime a life's taken, it's always sad. But I always tell family and friends, when they come to me with the case, if there's any skeletons in the closet, I need to know now. Because if not, it's coming out. I'm telling you, it's going to come out during the show. So, and it always does. So, everybody's saying hello to you. So, I just want to let you know.
Hi. I thought they were saying hello to you. I thought it was all your fans.
But yes, but no, I'd be honored to have you on there. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it would be an absolute honor to me. Thank you so much for the idea.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit of history about yourself.
Yeah. So starting from the very beginning, because I was sort of so blown away when Peter and I were in touch at first, because there are so many imposters on social media, and I thought that that's not the real Peter Marks getting in touch, because I'm a huge fan. But and I was like, oh my god. But I have also been around for a long while, not as long as Peter, but when I was 25, which is actually a really long time ago, I had been reading tarot casually and for fun, because I love it and because I love the colors. I'd been reading for about 5 years, and I thought at 25 it'll be fun to see if I could be self-employed and turn that in, turn the passion into a job, because I thought it's a little scary, but it's not going to be less scary when I'm 26 or 30. And I learned to read the tarot. I'm from Israel myself, and I traveled and learned to read the tarot in Greece, where everybody can read something. So in Greece, if somebody reads the tarot, then their best friend reads playing cards, and then their other friend will not have like a full pendulum, but will have like a wedding ring on a long hair. So it's a very mystical, spiritual country, and everyone messes with one thing or another. So I learned how to read tarot when I was 20 in Greece, and basically went back to living in London, which I did at the time, and would just practice. And it's something that I say to everybody that likes to sort of take an interest in esotericism. Just practice. It works for everything. The more you do, the better you'll get. And at 25, I thought, let's try and see if I could be self-employed. So I took the underground to my friend Fred, who had a printer. This is like a real story that I think nobody under 40 would even understand the references. Why do you need a printer? Just go on social media, because social media hasn't been invented and there were no smartphones. So that's 1994. I took the tube to my friend Fred, who had a printer. Nobody else had a printer. And on those, to print like flyers to say, please come to Inbal for readings. And on the way to Fred's house, I saw a big sign that says psychic fair here in 4 days. And I thought, well, that's a funny coincidence, one of many. So 4 days later, I turned up at the psychic fair, and I was like, hi, if you could use an extra person, I'd love to do it. And I stayed with that psychic fair for 3 years. And
wow,
it wasn't just like practice, but I was also working table to table next to people that had been doing this job for 20 years, 30 years. If you remember, before social media, the only people that could make their living being psychic were excellent at their job. There was nobody that was kind of all right, a bit average. Nobody, because you had to feed yourself, and you couldn't like log off your office job and pop onto like a phone reading and do like an hour of that. You had to, either you did this or you didn't do this. So I was working with 6 people every night. It used to be like 7 people per psychic fair. I was working with 6 people every night who were top of their class mediums, numerologists, palmists, and just working in that kind of an environment. First of all, it's very energetically empowering, but also they would give me tips. So, for example, a friend was sort of doing a reading once that I asked for my husband to see. Oh, it wasn't my husband at the time, to see if he would pass his accountancy exams. And I said to her, he's got 4 exams. And she picked out a card. It wasn't tarot, it was oracle. And it said forgiveness. And I was like, I have no idea what that means. And she was like, you said 4 exams and it says forgiveness. The rest of it doesn't matter. It's just the 4 that matters. Yes, he passes all 4 and he did pass all 4. So working in that kind of very supportive, very collaborative environment was incredible for me. And I feel like that accelerated my ability to read, but also my ability to deal with clients. Because when you have like a very difficult reading or somebody who doesn't want to receive their message, all you have to do is go 3 feet to the side and go, you know, Angela, what would you do if somebody did that to you? So you learn such a lot on your feet. So 3 years without psychic fair, but going back to when I just started, so about 4 months into that, another weird coincidence. Somebody who I had met at a wedding years before turned out works in TV production and said to me, would you like to come on like a psychic game show? It was like a program where it was, you'd have 2 psychics and we would have to do a reading for a celebrity guest, but like they'd be covered up so we wouldn't know who it was, male or female, what field they were from. And then we would get 1 minute to say to the presenter, this person is from this and that kind of background, or this is what their family is like, or this is their career. And then we'd have a panel choosing which one of us won. And I was the youngest person there by far, but I just did very well in the audition, and that was my first year. And it's only now looking back, and then one of the psychics there let me cover for her psychic radio show, which was called Psychic Sidekicks.
Oh, that's cute.
And for all of that to have happened within months of me just thinking it'll be fun, looking back, I think that's bananas. How can that happen to one person? But as you know, when things are right, they just align. So I feel like I've really had a very easy time of it. But also all of that is 23, 24 years ago. And, you know, and the economy is hard. And I was a foreigner without a British passport at the time, and without a credit rating. You know, I couldn't apply for a debit card or anything. So I think the fact that it worked so well, it's got to mean that it was probably the right thing to do.
Wow.
It's an amazing story.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So would you like to, are you in the mood tonight to give Minnie?
Always. It's really like my happy place doing readings. So if anyone watching would like to throw in a question, it can be anything. You know, sometimes people go, well, I've got a really weird question, and I'm like, yay, I'm totally here for the crazy questions.
Here it comes.
Yeah.
Here's your chance. Mini reading.
Yeah,
who wants to go first? Hello, Standing Stones.
You know what I'm thinking of? I don't know if you're open to it, but In-Ball's never read for you.
Ah! Whoa. Okay.
Can we do it?
Why don't we start with the host and the producer?
All right. Why not? Hey, all right. We'll let her do me. Why not?
Yeah, let's do that. Fabulous. So the way I do it, I shuffle the cards just because I feel like that's a way to sort of get the energy into them. They're never in order. They're never tidy anyway, although I do like to keep them the whole way, the right way up, because I don't read reversals. And then to do a general reading, because we're not asking a question, I lay out 11 cards. 10 of them are in a format called the Celtic Cross, and then there is one extra card that that I put on top, which is a trick I picked from my best friend. Right, you will be super unsurprised to know that you've got big cards more than small cards, and that comes up for people that are big personalities, that are very devoted, very committed, and also a little bit nuts, you know, which you know, which is the best way to be.
Sounds like me.
What's really interesting, so I'm doing this on like my laptop, so I can't do like my usual trick of taking the phone and showing you the cards. So I'm going to actually hold them up because we've got a real interesting split. The tarot cards, as you know, come in all colors, all shapes and sizes. And when I have like a colony of the same color cards coming together, I think, well, that's got to mean something. And yours are split exactly down the middle. So everything on the left-hand side is these flame colors, which comes up for people that are very creative, that work like from their gut feeling. And the entire right-hand side is kind of bluey, which is for good communicators, also healers. Now, the red colony has got a dark and foreboding one on top, and the blue colony also has a dark and foreboding one on top. So that's just kind of the preamble. So I'll tell you what they mean. It's just that I get excited when they're very visually striking. But what they mean, and we're going to get to the sort of the colonies of color in a second, but what they mean, it says that you have pretty much up until now just gone with your gut feeling, which is an amazing way to be. But all the steps that you've taken, it says specifically over the last year and this year, but also before that, have been not even your intuition. It'll literally be where your feet take you. If your hands of their own accord start typing something, you just go with it. And it says that you've managed to gain a certain feeling of control over things, but because you're kind of allowing your you're allowing your gut feelings, or you're allowing your we'll go with urges. You're allowing your urges to control you. It makes you feel only grounded in places. And it says that you're starting to question whether emotionally or energetically that's the right way to be. And there's no right or wrong way, because you are a dual person. And being dependent, reliant on your creativity and on your intuition is very correct for you half of the time. And the other half of the time, so this is where we've got the blue coming in, the other half of the time has got to be according to plan. What I mean by that is that it's entirely possible to be a planner and what's the word for it? And chaotic. You can do both. No one is here to tell you that you can't do both. So when you think of being entirely chaotic, you're thinking, no, that'll be too complicated, and it's very hard to live in this, terrifying capitalist world being totally chaotic. So I also need to be organized, but you feel like you can't be both. And I'm here to tell you, you can. How? By making a plan. And then if something doesn't go according to plan, then you roll with it. And then you make a plan to return to things. And then if things don't go according to plan, then that's great. That's a blessing. That's the universe helping you find a better route. If you are able to remove the low confidence, sorry to say that in front of all of your fans, but if you're able to remove the low confidence and the self-questioning, we don't want these, then you would have a beautiful combination of both sides of your personality. And there is absolutely nothing wrong in being a dual person. Some of the greatest minds of not even our generation, of previous generations, were both artists, inventors, scientists all at once. Maybe it's you. They didn't have these on top, and you can get rid of them. Now, what's nice is that these came on top. When something comes on top, you know what we've got on top? The brain. It's your brain saying to you, I don't think you can do both. It's your brain saying to you, this might be too hard. You say to your brain, can you please get out of the equation? Because I got this. My heart, my gut, and my experience have got this. And when you have decolonized your brain from the unhelpful thinking pattern, then you would have no problem lunging forward, lurching forward, because you're very hardworking by nature. It's really normal for you to over deliver. It's really normal for you to demand a lot from yourself. Demand a lot from yourself, absolutely, by all means, but without judging yourself. If you come in at, say, 80-90%, if you demand of yourself 1,000 and come in at 89%, you're still doing 8 times better than people that demand of themselves 100. Not that I want you to compare yourself to others, because that's not what you're about at all. But that's another point. When you stop comparing yourself to others, then everything will be smooth sailing. So that's what we've got. Now, you have a lot more gifts than you realize. You're approaching a lot of this from a scientific perspective, but you have very profound gifts. You're able to see, feel, hear all sorts of stuff that people who have a dollar amount for those skills don't have at the same level that you do. And also, it says that when you're living the chaotic life and you feel a little bit like grounding, do it. It's not embarrassing. It's not boring to need, a bit of time just reading a book with all your technology switched off. So that's what I've got for like your real general read. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
Wow. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yes.
They're really, really, really intense cards.
Yeah, I can tell. When I saw your face, you're like, this is going to be good,
No,
ladies and gentlemen.
No poker.
Yeah. Nilda says, if you can pick up anything on her. Nilda.
Yeah, let's have a little look. Fabulous. So let's go with a fun mini for her and ask, what does Nilda need to know? Ooh. Sorry, some of my cards escaped. I'll be back.
Hey, Kimmy, welcome to the show.
I wanted to interject something, if I may. What Imbal just said is in your chart. And when I say from the two sides, she's absolutely on target. You've got the pragmatic, you've got the organizer, and then you have the other side of you that when things don't work out quite the way you want them in a serendipitous way, you just go with the flow and it works out. So she's right on. She's right on the mark.
Wow.
Thank you so much, Peter. I love it when we can confirm each other's readings. Right. Nilda, what comes through for you is actually an artistic side. So I don't know if you're an artist or if there's an art form that you're particularly gifted at, but it says that all the weird things that have been happening in your life is so that you are given space to do more of your art. So if you feel like things have fallen by the wayside or if friendships have broken up, those were things, I'm sorry to say, that were wasting your time. And as you do more art, you become more healed as a person. Let me know if that makes sense, if you're an artist.
That's awesome. See here.
Oh, she's giving, is that giving a thumbs up?
I'm waiting for a response.
Okay.
I love drawing, she says.
See?
Wonderful.
Wow. You nailed it. Wow.
Good evening, Johnny. Welcome to the show. Nicole would love to sample your mini reading. Nicole.
Wonderful. Thank you, Nicole. So I saw that you're a Taurus. It went through very briefly. Let's take one for Nicole. Right. So Taurus have got kind of the twin desires to stay put, to stay still. Taurians love just, hanging, and also to live the high life. And they can be contradictory, especially for you, Nicole, because it says that you're trying to stop yourself from experiencing too many changes, and you feel like it'll be really calming for you to just stay put. You're saying to yourself, don't go too crazy, girl. But actually, I have to tell you, Nicole, that in order to get, and wait for this, the high life that you want to get. So this card that's coming up for you, if you see, that's a gold coin surrounded by golden angel wings. So it's a nice card for money. And this one is a tree growing money on it. So in order to get all the financial success that you really, really want, you need to allow yourself to experience a little bit of discomfort. So you might find that you need to apply for a job a little further afield, or you might even find that you need to move house in order to get closer to the future, to the destiny that you'd like to see for yourself, because the big stuff is there. It's ready for you. There are a lot of wins. There's a lot of success, but it's not going to happen to you where you are. So you've got to choose between stillness, which you love, and earning, which you also love. At this stage, it's got to be one or the other. When you get to the point where the earnings live, then you can stay there. So I'm very leaning towards that choice.
Wow, that's interesting. Interesting, Nicole.
That's fun. And I think I don't know if you can scroll back to previous comments, but there was another one. Oh, I can see where the comments live on my screen. There we go. Lindsay. Yeah, that's who I was looking for.
Lindsay Smith. Yes.
I also wanted to ask, Imba, if anybody throughout the world would like to contact you, how would they do that for a private reading?
Thank you so much for asking. So my first name is Inbal, real name. That's INBAAL. If you put a .com on it, you get to me. If you put it on Facebook, you get to me. If you put it on Instagram, you get to me. So if you just search for Inbal, you'll find me, with the proviso that at the moment there are a lot of imposters. So one of the fun ways of making sure it's me is, first of all, my English grammar is and most of the imposters not so much. So try that. And you can just sort of, ask me questions. The imposters will just try and sell you a reading. Send me dollars now. I work in UK pounds anyway. But yeah, I'm very easy to get a hold of. Don't let the imposters put you off. You'll realize that it's me pretty easily. Oh, and Nicole says that's exactly what I'm in the middle of right now. Thank you.
Yes, exactly what she says.
Amazing. And yeah, I had with Lindsay. Sorry, I just figured out where to find the comments on my screen as well. It took me a while. And Lindsay was asking for a mini, and it was a Capricorn. Yeah, Capricorn. But a very special Capricorn, isn't it, Peter? What a lovely date.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I love it. Like the pre-Christmas Capricorns.
The pre-Christmas, and plus we're going through, Pluto is back in the sign of Capricorn, and it's going to be going into the sign of Aquarius in the next couple of months. So right now We're in between Capricorn and Aquarius.
Yeah, and they've been dipping in and out. I have been following that Pluto thing with great interest because I'm very political. Obviously, I'm from the Middle East. Everybody from the Middle East is very political. And there's been so much going on where I was thinking, no, this person should really be in prison and that person should really be in prison. And when we dipped into Aquarius, all of a sudden indictments and demonstrations and stuff. And then we dipped back into Capricorn and all of a sudden those people can't be touched again. So I am on the edge of my seat waiting for us to go into Aquarius and stay there for 20 years. I am so invested. I'm so invested in that Pluto. I've got Mercury in Aquarius, as you can tell. So
yes, we both do. We both have Mercury in Aquarius.
Exactly. So we both have that. So yeah, there's for Lindsay. Right. Lindsay, you've been having a hard time, not because of your own self. You've been having a hard time because you listen to what other people say, and that deserves a lot of deafness. You have to be absolutely deaf and blind to what anybody else has to say, because I feel like from a previous relationship, you kind of dragged into your world people that only know how to speak negative. They only know how to whinge about this and say awful stuff about that. And you can't really handle that kind of an environment. You need uplifting people. You need to be surrounded by fire signs that are always on the go. Sagittarians, Aries. You need to have people around you who enjoy a good party and enjoy a good chit chat. At the moment, it looks like you're surrounded by exactly the wrongest people. And don't think I'm psychotic for saying, just cut out of those friendships. Cut out of those friendships. They are not serving you. They're dragging you down. And this emptiness that you're feeling is not your fault. There's nothing wrong with you. Just those people that are speaking in your ear. And I'm sorry, if it's family, then of course it's so much more complex to get rid of them. And then you just have to develop this ability, which thankfully Capricorns are good at, to develop the ability to leave their criticism outside. Right, Lindsay goes, war, so I'm assuming it makes sense. War is usually good.
Yeah, I tell you, it's ladies and gentlemen, it's not always hugs and kisses and puppy coats, little puppies and kittens, right? Standing stones. He wants one. I knew he was in the background. He's like, oh, please.
Right, and here we've got Sagittarius. I'm not even going to pretend that's not my favorite sign. Absolutely my favorite sign. The party never stops with Sagittarius.
Standing stones was like, please help me, help me.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's so humble that he says, I would like a reading if possible after others have had theirs, if possible. Thank you so much for your patience. Right.
Look what Lindsay just put up. Holy moly.
Yeah, it really sounds positive. Standing stones. I've got a really, really interesting personality trait that you have, which is a little like Grizz. You're very dual. So you've got this really soft, very loving part of your persona. Do you want a cup of coffee? Can I make you something? And then you've got this really fiery side to you. And you're like, can everybody leave me alone? And just like I said to Grace, it's really okay to be both. It's really okay to be both. A lot of people have different aspects of their personalities. And I feel like at the moment, you're saying to yourself, no, I'm not a good person. I'm not a good person. Why can't I be this guy all the time? Why do I have to be this guy sometimes? There's nothing wrong, because this guy is a very nice guy, very loving guy, but it's not the whole story. And where the temper comes out, it comes out because your fiery side doesn't get honored in the same way. How do we honor our fiery side? By doing martial arts, for example, or, boxing down the gym. We honor our fiery side by shouting. So if you can join a choir, maybe, or a rock band, let your fiery side experience life on good terms, and so you won't feel like the temper is the only way for you to express fire. I hope I explained that in a way that makes sense. Sorry, I feel like I sort of it was the world's longest sentence. But yeah, I hope it makes sense. And if you want to ask a follow-on question, I'm still here. I'm fine. Oh, I'm a depressed artist. A lot of crap going on right now. Right. Yeah, I feel like this is exactly it. So go forward with your art in a much more passionate way. Let the fire express itself in all the beauty of your art. Grace, you've got a lot of artist fans.
Yes,
I feel like we're really
sure
surrounded by creative people. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's exactly it, Standing Stones. So you're allowing your softness to thrive, but you're denying your fire the right to also have its day in the sun. Have both, do both.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, enough on the choppy block, Yolanda.
You're on a roll, my friend.
Yeah, good old
Right.
Yolanda.
Let's have a look what we've got for you, Yolanda. Right. It shows you as a really loving person. Sorry, I'm laughing because I always laugh when it's an Aries, because I think, well, I better not get it wrong, because Aries anger can, it can eviscerate the entire show. So I'm going to stay on your right side. I'm going to say everything politely. But yeah, it actually shows you as a really, really loving person. And it shows that you have a very tender heart. And when you hear anybody's kind of backstory, you really relate to them. You have a lot of love in your heart, but also you're a really clever girl. And you feel like people don't really love a clever girl. Now, there's something in it. It's true. But it shows me that it's like you're trying to hide your intelligence to make other people more comfortable. And I'm here to remind you that you are an Aries, and please, making other people feel comfortable is not your job. It says that you are reluctant to show how bright and knowledgeable you are, and just allow it to go right out there in the open. Whoever doesn't fit with it will be gone anyway. Your loving heart is who you actually are and what you actually are, and that cleverness is kind of the spice over it. All of those personality traits belong together. Now, it also shows more love coming into your life. So don't know if you're single at the moment and you're looking, because it's showing a big boost in your love life in about 2 months. So where are we now? August. So around October, big boost in your love life. And it says that then you'll feel a lot more accepted and a lot more at home with being who you are. Let me know.
Come on, baby, let's play this game. Come on, baby, let's play the game of love. Yeah. All right. Wow. All right. Now, Mort, I'm not going to forget about you, Mort. I know that you're on the edge of your pants right now, but we got one in front of you. So hold on. I lost my spot trying to be funny. Summer Jones.
Oh,
Summer
I also wanted to
Jones.
say this to you. I've read for a lot of these people, you're right on the mark. That's why
Oh,
because you're right on the mark. What you're saying, yes, a lot of these people I've done reading for, and you're right. God, you're amazing.
thank you so much. That's
You're welcome.
amazing. I feel I have such a great sense of humility to match up with somebody of Peter's caliber. I just am living my best life here. Right.
I'm
So
humble.
Summer
Thank
says,
you.
if drawn, can you read me about money? And that's an Aquarius. I'm sorry to ask, Summer, but Aquarians don't usually really worry or care about money. They don't really understand money. So maybe
Yeah,
that's how you got to, to feeling confused about it. Let's see. Right. There is definitely money coming. 100% there is money coming. Look at this tree here, growing money on it. But before the money comes to you, there are things you need to get rid of. So if it's things you need to sell, if there are savings plans or investments or debts that are incurring what do you call it, like regular payment, there are at the moment things that are tying you up and dragging you down financially. And when they're out of the way, you'll be able to breathe much more easily financially. You can wrap most of them up by about November. It's coming up as 3 months from now that you're able to then kind of start actually sort of putting things together and saving up. And the moment you start bringing in the money, when you're not sort of cluttered and dragged down, it's going to happen much faster than you think. Much faster than you think. So that when we chat, say this time next year, you're going to be saying, I can't believe I managed to turn things around such a lot in only 1 year. So yeah, it's definitely happening. It's definitely happening. But there's a lot of, a lot of shedding to do first.
And she said, yes, I dropped off some clutter today at a shop.
So positive. Wonderful.
So there we go. So yeah, she says, thank you very much. Hello, Debbie. Welcome to the show, Debbie Wallace. All right, Mort, here we go. He wants to know about love. Love.
Right. Mort, I see you're a
Anything.
Piscean like me. Let's see. But a February Pisces. Right. So, Mort, what it shows here is that you're kind of progressing all the time. So you're always looking for the next thing to do, next like diploma to learn for, next connection that you'll make. Do you also do volunteer work? Because I feel like you're always busy, you're always on the go, and you know what you don't do. You don't give yourself a chance to settle for a minute and look around and pat yourself on the back. And you deserve a huge pat on the back because you have spent now, it says like literally 20 years, maybe longer than that, making other people's lives more pleasurable, more enjoyable. So you've done, I don't want to call it self-sacrifice because I'm a Pisces too, and it doesn't feel like a sacrifice, does it? It just feels like the best thing that you can do. But it shows that you need to, first of all, congratulate yourself for a life well lived, for always having your heart in the right place. And then it looks like if you could focus more on a small community, just you and the people closest to you, the nuclear family, and I suppose sort of their friends, then you won't be spreading yourself too thin with all of your charitable good deeds, because you really do a lot. Let me know.
Interesting, Mort. Yeah, so tell us Don't leave us hanging. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Spot on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mort.
All right. Now, I know somebody's heart is beating in their chest, and I'm going back because I skipped them. I do apologize. I'm scrolling through the comments. See, look, you all got me excited. All right. So when I get excited,
And me.
where'd you go? Where'd you go here? Ward. There you go. Ward. Ward wants something. Now I know Ward does not live in America. So I'm not gonna go there.
Because he's got the date the right way around.
Right.
Like everyone else in the world
Right.
does it this way.
Yes. So, all right, Ward. I didn't forget about you.
Let's have a look, Ward.
Look, he's already grinning.
Oh, right. Ward has got the most, forgive me for saying it, the most self-destructive personality ever. Not really in a negative way, but it's as if you always like a challenge. You always try to do things the hardest way possible. So it shows that at the moment you've got good stability going on in your life, and you've established yourself, and you've succeeded in what you'd set out to succeed. So whether it's sort of getting a degree or even sort of setting up a business, it literally shows you as the boss. It's a tarot card called the Emperor. And you see how stable it's showing you, sitting strong, sitting powerful. This could really be a time where any regular person would be like, yeah, this is it. I've achieved what I wanted, especially a Taurus like you, Ward. But no, you have a different direction. And it shows that you are saying, now I'm going to follow my heart. I feel like a change. I feel like getting on a plane and just starting new somewhere else. Yes, I'm going to cut all the ties and I'm going to have an adventure. And, I think people around you would be like, really, man? Really? But for me, I think that's the best way to be. Fly free, Ward. Do it, because you've succeeded once. There's no way you could fail if you try again. If you've succeeded once, you'll succeed again. So yes, good luck on your adventures. Let me know.
Oh, what's that song? Let it be, let it be, or let it go, or wherever it goes. Ward says, yes, I understand that's me. I like challenges, and thank you. So yes, so, wow, that was very impressive.
Thank you.
So Peter, yeah, she has validated everything to me. So yes, you are absolutely correct. I never, what's really amazing is these people on this panel that you're going to be coming on to, they are, some of them are emotionally tied to me. And it's funny because some of them will tell me things and it will come true 3-5 months down the road. And I'm like, really? And some of them I'm like, you're crazy. That's not going to happen. And they'll be like, just wait. Just wait. And I'm like, what? I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, and I'll call them up. And they're like, it happened, didn't it? I'm like, how'd you know? And they're like, why did I even ask you that question? Or I'll be on the phone with them. They'll call me and they're like, hey, you need to do a cleansing in your studio. I'm like, I'm like, y'all drive me crazy. Then I'll walk by somebody like, oh, who'd you just walk by? Put him on the phone right now. I'm like, what? What do you mean? Put him on the phone. I'm like, hey. They're like, my mom's like, who's that? I'm like, you better just talk to them. The next thing you know, an hour later, they're doing a reading and they're like, they won't leave me alone. They've been trying to get a hold of you. And and as soon as I talk to you, they just walk out of my room. Your uncle or your mother or something, So yeah, so it's just amazing. And then I have some of them call me and be like, Grizzly, you're gonna be okay, and quit stressing over things. You're gonna get through today. I'm like, damn, you guys, can I have just a moment of breath by myself? I'm behind on ads. I'm behind on promotions, right? I forgot to do a promo or something, you know, and it's nice to have people that will connect it to you. And but it's interesting. It really is. Peter, he always seems to crack me up, right? Because I won't go into detail, but I was yeah. Anyways, we were talking and he was like, so, and this is the reason why I didn't work out. And I was like, yeah. He's like, I knew. I was like, why didn't you tell me that 3 months ago instead of me wasting my time? He's like, well, you had to find out yourself. I'm like, well, quit wasting my time, people. Just tell me. No, next one, right? But that's not the way it works, ladies and gentlemen. But anyways.
Yeah.
Look at her laugh and see she knows. She knows.
I live for it. I love it.
So yeah, right. So yeah, it just cracks me up because I don't even say things to Peter. Peter would just like look over and he'll be like, so yeah, so this is the reason why it didn't work. And I'm like, what? And he said, my spirit guide just told me. And I'm like, well, why didn't your spirit guides tell me that 2 or 3 months ago? Yeah. So, and he just laughs at me, right? And I'm like, oh.
In fact, tonight, they asked me to be quiet. They said, do not give readings, let Imbal do the reading. And they were right. It's nice to, when you have an amazing and intuitive on, a medium and a psychic, it's nice to watch your audience and their responses and their joy. And they all are saying to you right on target. You're correct. So we're going to be doing amazing things, all of us. You, Imbal, myself, Angela, Kelly Jo. We're all going to be doing amazing work together and growing the show every week on an international level.
So Lala is a psychic medium. She's on the panel. You really adore her. For some reason, she has fairies at her house. And look, I got a super sticker. Yay. Thank you. Yay. And she's got fairies at her house. And we actually caught one during our live show. And it was amazing. It had wings and legs and everything. And but when we do shows together, whether it's the forensic, the true crime, paranormal and true crime show, her orbs at her home just go fanatic. They're just like all over, zip, zang, wang, wang. And then she's like, it's only when we do your show. And I'm like, well, that's they just like me. And she says it's the energy. She says, yes, see, they love him. They always show up for his shows. And it's just amazing. But I'm going to definitely add you to the board. We got a show coming up Friday. Hopefully you can make it at 6. I will send you the photograph. And that's the only thing I'll give you. I won't, no other information. Show up at 6:15. I'll do a rehash of the case. And I'll bring you on, especially for people in UK. I got them across the world, these people with abilities. So the ones that are out of the country, I'll bring them on first. So that way you're not up late, so you can divulge your information. And if you want to stick around to hear the others, you're more than welcome to see everybody falls in line. Because it's real interesting because it's like taking 15, 20 people. And I use this scenario, put them from a Volkswagen parked in front of a McDonald's next to a fire hydrant. And everybody's around that Volkswagen. And I asked each person, what do you see? And they give me a description of that car, but at a different angle, right? Yeah. And we go all the way around. Then we take all those pieces of the puzzle and put it together. So, yeah, it's very interesting. So I can't wait to have you on the board. Crazy Wit says, yes, it's very interesting. Johnny, paranormal true crime could be interesting. It is, Johnny. You need to tune in. It's every Friday at 6:00. So very interesting. But but you'll meet Lala out there with everybody else. And thank you, Lala. Greatly appreciate that. It really helps us out. But yeah, you meet a lot of interesting people. And everybody's asking is, where's Angela?
Angela called, and I didn't want to be rude by listening to the message during Inbal's session, but she called. She had a client, and she had to attend to the client. So everything worked out perfectly tonight. It really did.
As long as she's okay.
Together, yeah, it was absolutely perfect. My guides were even clapping. So we did this. The guides were in control of all of this. So I'm very pleased.
Well, good. Now, how do they get a hold of you again if everybody wants to reach you?
If you spell my name, you can find me. It's INBAAL. If you put a .com on it, you got me. If you put a hotmail.com on it, you got me.
Yes.
So you can find me on Instagram, on Facebook. I will say that on my birthday in March, my Facebook Messenger stopped working, which was the best birthday gift I had that year.
Wow.
So don't try and send me messages there. But my Instagram is working just fine. Inbal@hotmail.com is me. Inbal@gmail.com is me. I'm very easy to get a hold of.
Okay, so Peter, make sure, and I'm going to email you and make sure we get. So I got to put her on your all's email list so I can send her the target. What we call it a target, but the person, the missing person,
I
the
will
person
forward it to her. Yes,
that way I can send the email to all three of you guys, because Peter, he's the only one checks his messenger. Angela, nah, Kelly Joe, forget that. It's like once every couple of days you'll meet Kelly Joe. She's a really good one too. I mean, we got fantastic medium psychics or people with abilities, and I'm blessed to even just to know them. So, and I'm very thankful for you coming aboard and helping out. And
thank you so much.
And we'll let you know that some cases we do children. So just throwing that out front. So it is kind of sad. So, but yes, we do. But hopefully everybody enjoyed the show tonight. I really did. But
I thought it was wonderful.
Thank you so much for coming on. And
I had a blast. Thank you.
Great. And Peter, we'll catch you next week, and I'll send you the information for the show for Friday at 6:15.
All right. Thank you very much to both of you. Namaste and much love.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.